Yesterday was a doozy of a day, and today we're going to get right into today's top headlines. I'm Andrew Baydala. Today's top headlines: WWE provides COVID-19 business update, and yes, we'll get into releases and the superstars that were affected and talent. AEW still running Double or Nothing pay-per-view, but not at the MGM Grand. The Undertaker joins the All In Challenge, and no, not that All In. Jimmy Snuka and Nancy Argentino episode of Dark Side of the Ring, which aired Tuesday night. And the fallout from AEW Dynamite and NXT, which both shows were tremendous. And we will have the man they call Meathead joining me live to discuss both of those coming up next, right here on the PWR Today. All right, let's get into today's top headlines. Leading with AEW still running Double or Nothing on pay-per-view, but not at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. The AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view won't be happening in front of a live crowd at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. It will still take place on pay-per-view on May 23rd. Here is a full statement from AEW. AEW's Double or Nothing event will be televised on pay-per-view as scheduled on May 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Additional details related to Double or Nothing, which was initially scheduled to be held at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, will be revealed in the weeks ahead, with features of the event itself ultimately being determined by the latest guidelines of national and global health authorities. The highly anticipated event will be available for purchase via in-demand cable operators, DirecTV, Dish, BR Live, and Fight TV. The Double or Nothing live event, originally scheduled for May 23rd, 2020, has been rescheduled for the MGM Grand Garden Arena for Saturday, May 29th, 2021. Well, good news from AEW here that they're still going to run Double or Nothing. I think that fans are clamoring for a pay-per-view from them, especially since, every other company out there has basically done nothing besides the WWE in regards to pay-per-view or in demand. So this is welcomed news. I'm excited that they're going to see through their feuds and a build to pay-per-view matches. Hopefully we get some really good content on Dynamite in the next coming weeks. Last night's episode was very, very good. So I'm interested to see where they go towards this pay-per-view. And as always, I'm intrigued and I will be watching. The Undertaker. The next top headline here is The Undertaker. And no, it's not about the Boneyard match. The Undertaker joins the All In Challenge. And no, I'm not talking about AEW. No, The Undertaker is not joining AEW. The All In Challenge is a challenge set up by the people over at Fanatics that will provide food to those in need, such as children, the elderly, and frontline heroes. They have currently raised over $4 million for this cause, and that number will 100% go up in the next coming weeks. Celebrity involvement in this one is massive. Some of the names include Tom Brady, Justin Bieber, Kevin Hart, Mark Cuban, Peyton Manning, Ryan Seacrest, Ellen DeGeneres, and many, many more. All who are including once-in-a-lifetime experiences, and The Undertaker is no different. The former WWE champion and first ballot Hall of Famer is giving away one of his ring-used jackets from a pay-per-view event and dinner with the dead man. The bidding is currently at $8,250 and is set to end in 8 days. Well, listen, if I had a spare 10 or 11K rolling around my house, I might try and bid on this. This is something that, first of all, goes to a great cause. And if you have the expendable cash flow and you can make this charitable donation, who wouldn't want to say that they have a ring-used Undertaker jacket in their collection and could say that they had dinner one-on-one with The Undertaker, Mark Calloway. Let's get one thing straight. You're getting the man there. I know whoever wins is probably going to bombard you with a bunch of wrestling questions, but hey, that's what you paid for. You do what you want. But man, oh man, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and good on The Undertaker for doing something that will help those children, elderly, and frontline heroes who don't know where their next meal's coming from. I truly have an immense amount of respect for him as it is, and this just adds to that. Like I said, go to Fanatics, go to that All In Challenge, and if you can, bid on it. I know I wish I could. $9,000 is a little out of my price range right now, but, I guess never say never. We'll see how it goes. We're going to touch on the Jimmy Snuka, Nancy Argentino episode of Dark Side of the Ring. This episode, man, I don't think this was the most alarming episode of the Dark Side of the Ring. But there were so many things that went into this that just make you raise your eyebrow. Jimmy Snuka had Buddy Rogers driving him around because he was supposedly just a giant cocaine addict and couldn't be counted on to get to buildings by himself. and he was a huge draw in the 80s, especially for the WWF. He was a big challenge to Bruno Sammartino after Sammartino had kind of departed the company, and he was basically the next in line. He was their golden goose. And the whole documentary on this was very well done. It's completely tragic what happened to Nancy Argentino, and I'm happy, her family got to tell their story. To me, it was very eye-opening. I mean, the people that were interviewed, I'm not going to name them. If you haven't seen the episode, you should. I won't give too much away here, but Jimmy Snuka, it seems as if he got away with probably a accidental murder. I don't think he planned to hurt or kill anybody, but just with the evidence provided, it just seems that Jimmy Snuka might have just, accidentally taken one, too far here. And it's tragic. It was very well done. The evidence is obviously mounting. And Jimmy actually went on trial 30 years later and was deemed, unfit to stand trial. So that's why he was ultimately let go. And I believe he died shortly after. So again, something you should 100% watch. Dark Side of the Ring is on Vice. It's very, very good. All the episodes have been fantastic so far. The Brawl for All was excellent. The Chris Benoit was tragic. The New Jack episode, I'm not going to touch that one. That New Jack episode was, I don't even know where to begin or end on that one. So, again, if you haven't had the chance to go watch the Jimmy Snuka episode or any of the Dark Side of the Rings, you definitely should. They're both worth your time and worth the investment. I know it's a lot asking for an hour of a documentary, but they are very, very well done and something that I look forward to every Tuesday on Vite. All right, well, let's get into what everybody wants to talk about. And yeah, I side there because the WWE provides a COVID-19 business update. This was one of the hardest days in professional wrestling yesterday to hear everything that was going on. But I will read for you what the WWE provided, and then I will read for you the current list of names that have been released, and then I will give you my thoughts on everything. The WWE today provided an update on measures taken by the company in response to the current impact of the COVID-19 disease on the organization. Due to COVID-19 and current government-mandated impacts on the WWE and its media business generally, the company went through an extensive evaluation of its operations over the past several weeks. This analysis resulted in the implementation of various short-term cost reductions and cash flow improvement actions, including reducing executive and board member compensation, decreasing operating expenses, cutting talent expenses, third-party staffing and consulting, deferring spending on the build-out of the company's new headquarters for at least 6 months. Given the uncertainty of the situation, the company also identified headcount reductions and made the decision to furlough a portion of its workforce effective immediately. The decision to furlough versus permanently reduce headcount reflects the fact that the company currently believes the furlough will be temporary in nature. The company's reductions of employee compensation and headcount will result in an estimated monthly savings of $4 million, along with the cash flow improvement of $140 million, primarily from the deferral in spending on the company's new headquarters. Additionally, the company has substantial financial resources, both available cash and debt capacity, which currently totals about $500 million or $500 million. To manage the challenges ahead, management continues to believe the fundamentals of the company's business remain strong, and that WWE is well positioned to take full advantage of the changing media landscape and increasing value of live sports rights over the long term. The company will provide further details when it reports its first quarter 2020 results next Thursday, April 23rd, at the close of the market. So a week from now, the WWE will have its first quarter 2020 results on a live conference that I will take part in. And when I say take part, I will listen. I am a WWE stockholder, and I do constantly watch their stock. And I think that's exactly what this is all about. I know a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people were furloughed. And I feel for those people, especially the people who you have no idea who they are. I'm going to talk to Meathead about the release of all these stars But basically what the WWE did here, in my opinion, is basically saying to all their primary investors and their media partners that we're going to be here. We're going to be okay. You don't have to worry about us. And we will have to release a bunch of talent that will free up a monthly savings of $4 million. And it will have a cash flow improvement of $140 million because they're not going to do anything with their new company headquarters. So essentially, they're basically saying we're going to be okay. Just relax. And they want to provide positive updates for their shareholders and stockholders on Thursday. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday. So, it's a tough thing to do, but it's business. Business is business. Nothing in business is personal. The only thing that I could say is that it's totally unfortunate. We normally see the WrestleMania cuts, but this is a way different story. And I look forward to hopefully having a different conversation with you all next week on this whole situation. Hopefully there is a light at the end of the tunnel for WWE, but realistically, I think basically what they're saying is we don't know where live events, sports and entertainment is going to be in the next 3 months. And you got to remember, if there's no live events, there's no gates, there's no fans, there's no merchandise sales at live events, there's no ticket sales, there's no nothing. So the only thing they have going for them right now is their TV contracts. And I'm not scoffing at that, but everybody needs to remember that WWE makes a large portion of their money from live events. So this is just another way to combat that. And this virus has, really done an impact on everybody and every situation. And my heart goes out to everybody who lost their job. And my heart goes out to everybody who is dealing with the ramifications of this loss. Both financially and to their families. I wish them nothing but a speedy recovery from this, and I hope to God that they find whatever it is that they need from this, whether they find new work or whether they are welcomed back to WWE with open arms. When one door closes, another door opens, and I believe that 100%. So everyone who has lost their job recently, whether it be in WWE or in any sort of work capacity or company, keep your head up and keep the good fight, and good things always happen to good people. So I truly believe that, and I think that everybody will come out of this better. We just need to take the time to come together as a country and as a collective unit and just do what's best for not only our health, but the country as a whole. So I'll get into the names right now with Meathead. I'll get his opinion, and we'll talk about two great shows that we saw last night with NXT and AEW Dynamite. AEW had a huge big fight feel with this Moxley and Hager feel, and NXT put on a good show. So let's get into that right now with Meathead. Meathead, how are you?
Thanks, Drew. Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Thanks for taking time out of your busy morning to join us. I know you saw the releases yesterday, like pretty much the whole wrestling world did. Angle, Rusev, Maverick, Ryder, Hawkins, Anderson, Gallows, Slater, Young, Rowan, Logan, No Way Jose, Mike Chioda, Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, EC3, Aiden English, Leo Rush, Primo, and Epico. I know I did those fast, but man, what a list.
It's a huge list, and I can't say that I'm not surprised by the list. What kind of shocked me was producers. So we're talking like Angle, Lance Storm, Rotunda, Fit Finley. My name's Finley, and I love to fight. We just had Sugar Shane Helms on the program last week, and David asked, so what is it you say you do here? Well, he's not doing anything anymore, unfortunately. So hopefully he catches on with something else. Scott Armstrong, Daivari. It's the producers that I'm more worried about, because these guys have families. They've been away from the house. Obviously, they're going to get a break. Here's what I think is really going to happen. I think that this is a short term. I know I heard you guys talk last night that this might be a long term. It was their chance to kind of trim the fat, if you will. I think this is a short term. Whereas once we get back to business, and by short term, I mean 6 months to a year, I see that roster, I see that company kind of ballooning a little again. But right now, the company, WWE, that is, can afford to take that hit financially. So they're trimming it out. It's almost like they're on furlough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're, go collect unemployment or something.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the producers are coming back. I don't think you can have this company with live events, and this company being WWE with their live event departments when everything goes back to normal, whenever that is, without these guys and gals, because there's just too much to be done. And
you're basically running the risk of only having, 5 or 6 producers right now on staff with all these live events across the world and daily. I agree with you. I think this is a furlough thing. The talent is alarming to me. Where do you see some of this talent? And I know this could be 2-3 months down the road because nobody's in the financial situation right now as a company to buy this amount of talent. But where do you see these guys or gals going?
When because I have it up on my screen, obviously, and when I'm taking a look at this list, I mean, you're looking at some of the younger guys, like Drake Maverick, for example, Rockstar Spud. I think he could work in either company, in AEW or even in Impact. Eric Rowan's a big man. He could work somewhere. But some of the other guys that might be a little bit farther on, it's tough. Gallows and Anderson could end up back in Japan, maybe New Japan or any one of those companies. But as I look at this list, obviously the only one that really shocks me, because again, I don't mean to kind of score and rank everybody at their job, because I don't need to be ranked at mine. But when I look at this list, these names don't necessarily surprise me. I mean, there's not consistent day-to-day, week-to-week guys that are on TV that are on this list. But Rusev obviously is probably just not happy with the angle that he had with his wife and with Bobby Lashley. It was just a terrible angle. When Rusev came back, he looked really good, cut a little bit leaner. They did nothing with him. They let Eric Rowan, carry around that cage for a while. Nothing really with that either. But some of the younger guys, I see maybe popping up in one of the other companies, but not right away. Other companies, I mean, what are the other companies? Impact and, maybe AEW. AEW's got stuff in the can already for a couple weeks. So if they pop up, what kind of impact, no pun intended, would they really have?
Yeah, it's a good point. The whole Rusev thing, it's interesting. Lana hasn't been released, but Rusev has. So to me, I think it's just creative frustration. I totally agree with you. I think Gallows and Anderson might resurface quickly, maybe in Japan or AEW, like you touched on. I do think Rusev and EC3 have a really good chance of maybe ending up in AEW, along with the likes of Ryder and Hawkins. But let's tail off from that. Let's not talk about. I mean, the next thing we're going to bring up is a little bit depressing. But what did you think of this AEW Dynamite No Holds Barred AEW Championship match?
So I was looking forward to it because a good match between Jake Hager or Jack Swagger and Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose, if you will. It was going to be an empty arena match. I like the marketing part that they put on there with the empty arena part. It was nice to have JR. They're like, you know what? JR is going to call a match. Oh, great. Who's going to ride along with him? No one. It took me a long time. So, folks that listen to this program and that are big PWR fans for the many years, go back in the archives. It took me a long time to really appreciate good old JR as a commentator and a storyteller. JR needs somebody to jump off of. What I mean by that is that while JR is a great storyteller and he called the show by himself tonight or called the match by himself tonight, he needs somebody to help fill in. He was great with the King. The King would, kind of throw this little bit in there or that little bit in there. He needs that. This match, the match was kind of flat. It didn't really do much for me. And the commentary, while JR was still good, JR was JR. He didn't have the oomph, to go with the match as well. We just finished watching it last night, and it was tough. I mean, Moxley retains. It was kind of brutal at the end. Nice little shot, but I did not really enjoy it all that much.
Yeah, I thought the ending was garbage. I thought that they did the best they could for what they had. Sure. I think Jim Ross was the only saving grace here. And to me, it was just absolutely brutal. It was just a brutal match, and I don't know where they go from here. But Meathead, love the opinions, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good one.
I hope tomorrow brings better news for everybody and we don't have to talk about company releases and everything else like that. My name is Andrew Baydala. You could follow me at TicketDrew on Twitter. This has been PWR Today. You can follow all of us and our social media gatherings and postings on Facebook and Instagram at PWR360 now, Twitter, PWR360, and the website for all your professional wrestling needs and podcasts is www.pwr360.com. My name is Andrew Baydala. Thank you for waking up with us, and I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow.